Friends, Romans, countrymen, philanthropists, President Esteban, lend me your ear. No, I'm kidding. Good evening and greetings to everyone present, students, faculty, administration, President Esteban, and a special welcome and thanks to our Seton Hall benefactors. As was mentioned, my name is Christian Powe. I'm a senior history major at SHU. I've been a Seton Hall pirate since my freshman year, all 4 years, so the pirate culture is pretty much all I know. I guess you could even say Seton Hall is in my blood. In fact, my older brother Juan was a student at Seton Hall, and he's gone on. He's moved to Chicago. He's continuing a 10-year career with the franchise that he works with after he left Seton Hall. My uncle actually lives directly across the street. He helped many of the Bowling residents escape from their rooms using his ladder during the tragic Bowling Hall fires in 2000. I'm telling you that because I know he probably wants me to, retell that. He's known as the ladder man, he says. So my family and Seton Hall have an invaluable relationship of which, as you can see, I'm very proud. As for me, it's been quite a ride at Seton Hall. I've had a very enjoyable but challenging and successful academic stay here at the university. I'm a recipient of the Martin Luther King Scholarship, which is a full tuition program geared towards academic excellence, community outreach, global awareness, through the philosophy of our namesake, Dr. King. Most recently, my greatest joy has been serving as a mentor in AT&T's pilot program in partnership with Seton Hall and CCRE. The Young Developers Program, this is a mentoring program in affiliation with Newark's Technology High School, where AT&T gives these bright high school students the latest technology and asks them to create phone applications that will better their community. And where we as SHU students come in as mentors or student mentors is we are the support system. They focus on the technology. We make sure they keep their head in the books because we want to teach them that that's the most important thing. We want them to not only say, if I go to college, but when I go to college. We dare them to challenge and enrich themselves to a college education. And we don't necessarily tell them Seton Hall is the only school in the country, but we tell them Seton Hall is the only school in the country, pretty much. Now, of course, I say that humorously, but on a serious note, Seton Hall is truly a haven for academic excellence and community outreach. Whenever you hear me talk about community outreach on this campus, one of the first things you'll hear me talk about is the Center for Community Research and Engagement, or CCRE, which is spearheaded by the lovely masterminds of Dr. Mirabella, Dr. Polito, and Ms. Bailey. So now to go a bit deeper into my maturation and my personal journey as a Seton Hall pirate, I was a 17-year-old freshman who was a recipient of the Martin Luther King Scholarship. And although, of course, I was grateful for a full tuition scholarship, after all, who wouldn't be, I didn't appreciate the scholarship as much as I would learn to eventually because, in all honesty, my eyes were on something different. I was limiting myself to something which I'll explain in a second. Since I was about 8 years old, I always wanted to play professional basketball. And up until my freshman year in college, I'd had somewhat of a successful high school athletic career, and I thought I had what it took to play Big East hoops and represent Seton Hall. And I was determined. I had a chip on my shoulder. However, my encounters with the former coaching administration were, to put it delicately, a train wreck. And thus the chip on my shoulder got that much bigger. You former athletes in here know how it is when somebody doubts you. You don't give up. Your ego gets hurt. You get that more tenacious. You get that more competitive. Your drive gets that much bigger. So in other words, admittedly, I was very bitter. But my frustrations came directly from my athletic failures. Did my work ethic for basketball affect my academic performance? Yes, initially, but not devastatingly. I maintained the academic requirements of the Martin Luther King Scholarship, which is a 3.0 GPA. But I knew, and our MLKSA advisor knew, Dr. Pritchett, that it wasn't my best. We knew that I was surviving academically, but not excelling academically. And what he told me was that's not the MLKSA way, and that's not the Seton Hall Pirate way. And so after time went by, after that glorious and fulfilling athletic career here at Seton Hall, note the sarcasm, I'd reached an impasse. I knew, and Dr. Pritchett confirmed, that the ordinary just wouldn't do. An extraordinary work ethic was my signature when it came to basketball, and that could barely have been considered fruitful as far as getting a chance on the team was concerned. So at this point, I had to just make a decision, a conscious decision, a very tough decision, to invest all of my energies towards my schoolwork and community outreach. And really, at this point, all I needed was the right spark to ignite me and point me in the right direction. And I did get a spark. It certainly wasn't the one I expected, and it started with tragedy. As many of you may have heard or do remember, September 25th, 2010, one of my dearest friends, Jessica Ann Moore, who was also a Seton Hall honor student, was shot and killed at an off-campus party. And in a move to protest the violence, the Martin Luther King Scholarship, the Black Student Union, the People's Organization for Progress, and many other notable organizations, many of which are on this campus today, did a march right at the intersection by which Jessica was shot. And upon that moment, I understood that these tragedies happen all the time, which was why I believed at that moment that someone had to stand up for these victims. And so this was my introduction to social and political activism. I would not have reached this epiphany if the Martin Luther King Scholarship didn't nurture activism, social and global awareness, which really reflects the Seton Hall mission. This rally through MLKSA really awakened a fire in me, and here I was standing up for what I believed in through action and a call for legislation. I was standing proxy for someone I loved who could no longer speak for herself. And this passion was new because before I was just known as the kid who's always on the basketball court. I was a new man and I loved what I was becoming, but it was at this point that my life changed even more. Now I was known as a public speaker. I was the first student in Seton Hall history to be the keynote speaker for the Black Student Union's Black Solidarity Day event. And after the death of Trayvon Martin, as many of you remember last year, I led a rally against vigilantism in Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which gained televised attention. 2 months later, I was a student speaker for the 2012 TEDx Seton Hall conference. Just recently, I've joined the campaign team for New Jersey State Senator Barbara Buono for governor of New Jersey against Chris Christie. Tall order. And this summer, I'll hopefully be interning at the office of Congressman Payne. Now, why do I say all this? It's certainly not a matter of self-promotion, and if I hadn't told you my maturation as a scholar, an activist, and an aspiring politician, I wouldn't blame you if you thought all this hubbub was a matter of self-indulgence. I say all that to tell you something that might come off as cliche when someone's representing their school at a donor relations dinner, but for me it makes all the sense in the world and is as true to me as anything else. Seton Hall, their faculty, their administrators, their culture, their organizations have transformed me. You heard my story yourself. I'm not the same person I was 4 years ago. I've come a long way from being a 17-year-old with hoop dreams. Seton Hall hosts the Martin Luther King Scholarship, which is no contest the greatest scholarship in this country. You can quote me on that. It has challenged me and molded me into the person that I am today. The Center for Community Research and Engagement offers a tremendous opportunity to positively affect this community. And so long as this program continues, the city of Newark will continue to progress socially, academically, and thus economically. And so in closing, let me say this. As everyone in here probably knows or has seen, the Seton Hall basketball program has seen better days. But it's funny because I told a couple of my friends something after our final loss that I and many of the students in here are determined to actualize. I said that the time is approaching when Seton Hall will be most known for producing world leaders. So don't feel bad about another basketball loss, because as far as us future world leaders are concerned, everything's going according to plan. And I'm convinced that as long as your contributions continue to grace us on this campus, your philanthropy, your support and spirit, we will actualize that dream. Thank you. Go Pirates.